Hola Year 7. So I'm just going to give you here a few things you can do. You don't have to do them, but if you want to do a little bit more Spanish, here are some things you can do in your free time after you've done your other subjects, if you want to challenge yourself a little bit, or you can do this over the summer holidays, and it's going to really help you wrap up everything from Year 7 and prepare you for Year 8. So the first slide you can see here is lots of activities you can do to help you practice what you've covered this year, or things that will help you in Year 8. So you should be able to see pretty well what it is that you need to do. You've got your top left common misspellings, so those are words or phrases that are often spelled wrong in Spanish, and you've got to put those words in Spanish and make sure you've spelled them right. Bottom left, phrases people mix up, so those are phrases people often get wrong. They think they're something else, so you are going to find out what they are and write them in. At the top, you're practicing your adjective agreements, so remember that in Spanish we've got L words, which are masculine, and La words, which are feminine, and you have to make sure that adjectives describing words agree. That means that the ending matches what you're talking about. Okay? If you need any more help with that, you can always leave a comment under the assignment on Google Classroom, and your teacher will help you to understand it a bit better, or you can have a little look on the internet for a bit of help with Spanish adjective agreements, and I'm sure there'll be lots of good websites to help. Middle, you've got correct the word order, so remember that adjectives in Spanish go after nouns, so they will say, I have a dog, black, rather than black dog. It's the opposite to how we do it, and that's the case for almost all adjectives. Then you've got some translations, so you're going to put what they mean in English. Try and do as much of this as you can without looking on the internet, without checking. On the right, you've got some past tense and present tense and future tenses you can use. And if you've done the vital phrases lesson, you'll find lots of help there because we cover lots of those phrases in that lesson. So to complete this, all you have to do is go to Google Classroom, and I'm going to put a copy of this. You can make your own version of it, so make your own copy to edit it, and you can complete it and you can submit it, and you can also mark it yourself. So go and do that now. Pause the video, because on the next slide I'm going to tell you the answers. And it's super important that you don't have a look in advance, because this is about learning and making progress, so we don't want to cheat, okay? So pause the video and then we're going on to the answers. And here are the answers. So take some time to mark all of that. You can pause this now, mark it all. You can submit it to your teacher as well, so that they know that you've been doing it. Okay, now we're going to move on. Here are some words that you should have done this year. Now obviously, because we've missed a little bit of school, they're words that you should have done or would have done, and you might have missed out on them. So don't worry, because we'll get you all caught up next year when we're back in school, or whenever we're back in, we'll catch up, so don't worry at all. But these are really good words to know for Year 8. So pause the video, take about 10 minutes and see if you can write down what these mean in English. Try and do as many as you can without looking it up. See if you can remember any. Don't worry, if there are lots that you don't remember, then just pick maybe 5 to 10 of them and find out what they mean. Just focus on those. Now I have only put words on here that don't look like English and that are a bit tricky to remember. So don't feel worried if you don't know any of these words or you've forgotten them, because they are meant to be tricky, okay? So I've done that on purpose, so don't let it worry you at all. Maybe just pick a few, find out what they mean. Okay? Now, here's a little bit of help for you. So if you're finding it quite tricky, I've actually put first letter of each word, and if it's 2 words, I've put the first letter of each word in English. So top left we've got Escocia, it begins with an S, it's a country, you can see it's a name of a place or a thing because it's got a capital letter, and it is actually a country, it's Scotland. So there's a bit of help for you. You can pause this, have a look, see if you can work out any more. And here are your answers. So now if you want to mark this, you can pause it. Okay, now we've got multiple choice. It's a little quiz for you. There are 12 phrases or words, and I want you to pick what the correct answer is. So Scotland, is that Escocia or Gales? Well, we've just been through it, so hopefully you remembered that Scotland is Escocia. And see if you can also, as little extension, translate the other words. For example, that top one, Gales, is Wales. So you can pause the video now, give this a go, challenge yourself with the extension too. And there are the answers. So give yourself a mark out of 12. Again, if you struggled a bit with this, that's okay. Even if you just picked up a few of the words, or maybe you didn't know any of them, and now you know 1 or 2, that's great progress. Don't worry about it at all. You're doing a brilliant job at home, learning Spanish as well as you can. We'll get you all caught up next year. Now we've got some sentences, and this is very similar to how the translations look when you do your GCSEs. So, if you do GCSE Spanish, you'll have a writing exam which will look quite like this. If you can therefore do this now, or do some of it, or even just do some words, you're doing brilliantly. So all you have to do is put them in Spanish. And you can see I've given you a few words that you need in blue at the bottom. I like my family. Now if you did the vital phrases lesson, we revised I like quite a lot. So hopefully you remember it's me encanta. My family, that's quite like English. Maybe you remember it's mi familia. So I like my family would be me encanta mi familia. So now give yourself time to do this, pause the video and we'll go through the answers. Okay, ready to go through the answers? There they are there. Now sometimes with translations there's more than one way to say something. So as long as it means pretty much the same thing, then that's fine. For example, boring, there are a few different words for that. So if you didn't put aburrido and you put something else, then that's probably okay. And if you want your teacher to check it, you can send us a little comment for the assignment on Google Classroom and we can let you know what we think. Now, a bit of a challenge for you. Some writing. I want you to see if you can write 50 to 60 words, and I want to know all about you. So I want you to describe your family, where you live, what you did last weekend or during the holidays, and what you're going to do next weekend. Now obviously at the moment we're a bit limited on what we can do, aren't we? And hopefully that's going to change soon, but for now, if you want to make it up and use your imagination, that's fine. Or think about what it is you did. Did you do anything fun or exciting at all? And if not, what would you have been doing? You can make it up and pretend that you're somebody else, okay? So there's a few bullet points there of things that you might want to talk about. I'm going to give you some vocab for this, so don't worry. It's coming up on the next couple of slides. There's lots of vocab on this slide here, so what you can do is open this video in another tab, and hopefully you'll be able to read this clearly, but I will also attach this to the assignment in Google Classroom so that you can see it clearly. And a little bit more vocab there. Okay, brilliant. So there's lots of extra work there for you to get on with if you want a bit more of a challenge. I would love, and I know all of the teachers in the Spanish department would love to see your answers, your pieces of writing. We miss seeing you. We want to have you back in as soon as we're all able to do so, and so this is going to be a great way for us to hear from you, find out what you're doing. Now, if you want to do this written, then that's a good way to do it. You can submit it as the assignment and we can mark it. But if you want to do it as a video, or you want to do a voice recording and read it out loud, however you want to do it, if you want to make a poster, all of those things would be absolutely amazing and we'd love to see them. Okay, so gracias, have a lovely rest of the day and a fabulous week. Adios.